I'm Graham,
And I'm Corinne, and
and
we
we are
are too
too
talented.
talented. Welcome to the Too Talented podcast. Thank you for being here today. Corinne's all decked in her new cool women can gear, which is her brand.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
my
pretty cool.
side venture movement slash brand slash it's community efforts. I don't know. It's a lot of things.
It's an ecosystem.
It's an ecosystem. But I'm very excited about our new hat. We have a running hat, which I've been wearing running, obviously, but I just got some samples of the lifestyle hat, and I'm very excited about it. As well as yes, we'll put a link in the show notes if
Yeah.
anyone wants to check it out. This is our Say It Again t-shirt, and Pacer also loves it. She's right here checking it out. She's like, I like that purple color, Mom. So yeah, it's really fun. And also on my other podcast, Ultra Uncovered, we're gonna be talking to a bunch of brands, small brands, number of which are clothing brands. And it's gonna be really fun to like learn about their journeys into e-commerce and trying to create some products in the running space. So that's gonna be fun.
Absolutely.
Really fun. But
Well,
how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing
You're
good.
busy.
Boy, busy. Yeah, work is all of a sudden getting busy. I'm doing two searches for a couple of clients, HR director and a VP of technology. So that's exciting. They're kind of higher level positions, and that's kind of a fun thing to kind of tackle. And I'm starting to get both of them to a phase where they're one's interviewing currently, and the other one's almost at interview phase. So yeah, it's exciting. It's going pretty well at the moment.
Yeah. You said yesterday, I remember when I was like, it was so dead in December, and that's
Yeah.
not the case now. I'm really tired of doing a lot of calls every single day. So
Yeah.
I knew it would change like that. But you're working two searches. I have like 7.
No. Yeah, you
I have a
are
lot.
also busy.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do that in 20 hours a week. So it's interesting, but yeah, we're going to talk about the types of roles you said, HR and director of technology,
VP, yeah.
VP of technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to talk. What are we going to talk about today?
Yes. Well, today we're going to talk about the February jobs report and maybe some things that we can provide some clarity. It was not a great jobs report, but I think we can kind of shed some light on kind of what some of the behind the scenes are. And then we're going to talk a little bit about kind of how number of companies as of late have done kind of layoffs and have said, oh, AI is going to do this work now. So we don't need these people. And we're going to shed a little bit of light on why that's probably not the case to hopefully give everybody a little bit of a behind the curtain that, someone say that, especially like a high profile CEO say that, and a lot of other companies react. So we're just going to be talking about some of that today as well.
Yep. How about running? What's going on with running?
Running's good. I've got a race, I think, in 4 weeks, and I've been doing a lot of skiing, so it's been kind of juggling between skiing and running, which I hopefully will be okay. So put a lot of miles. Well, I'm putting a lot of miles into this week because next week, taking the boys up for spring break, up to ski in Frisco. So that'll be fun. But yeah, being as busy as I am work wise, I feel like every day I'm having to really cram the run in. Um, and starting to kind of break them up and do one run during the day and then maybe a second run in the evening to be able to get it all in. So I'm kind of managing it, but it's a little bit of a juggle. How's it going for you?
Good. Yeah. It's going pretty good. I am pretty much back to full training after Black Canyon. Also have a race in 4 weeks, Desert Rats 100K. And I'm excited about it because I've never raced or really run the trails in that area, even though I grew up a couple hours south of there, Fruita, Colorado, Grand Junction area. They look really neat, and I think it'll be a good race. And yeah, my parents are going to come up, and the boys are going to crew, so it'll be fun to have them out there. And then yeah, I'm dealing with like a little bit of like an ankle niggle thing. It's not preventing me from running, but it's just kind of subtly there and annoying. So hopefully that doesn't turn into anything else. So I'm trying to manage that plus kind of higher mileage, this weekend and kind of the peak training phase. So Yeah.
the pinnacle of your training.
Oh my god. Okay, never mind. Inside joke. Yes. So, moving on.
Moving on to our first topic, which is the February 2026 jobs report. It came in that the economy lost 92,000 jobs on face value, which was kind of the big headline number that a lot of people talked about. There was a lot of with January's report was actually surprisingly good. So there was a lot of thought that maybe there would be some momentum that would carry into February. And unfortunately, it didn't. But I think it didn't for a couple specific reasons. So if you've been if following along and if you're job searching, surely you are, you've been seeing that the jobs reports have not been that great, which I actually think is a good thing because 2 years ago, we were in pretty much the same market. But the jobs report would come in like, oh, we added a couple 100,000 jobs. And everybody who was either job searching or in recruiting or talent acquisition even would scratch their head and go, doesn't feel like we added 200,000 jobs. And a lot of that was being driven by the healthcare sector and then government. Well, government has not been hiring nearly as much as they were, which, depending on your politics, is either a good thing or a bad thing. But it kind of opens up um, us to be able to see more about really what's happening behind the scenes. So now it's just healthcare. Well, then Kaiser had a strike in February, which has been resolved apparently. And so that had, I think, 50,000 workers not working for Kaiser because they were on strike. And that goes into this number. So really what we're seeing is healthcare, which had previously been propping up the entirety of the jobs report, didn't come in very good. So the jobs report didn't come in very good. So the reason I think that's good is now you get people who are now paying attention saying, hey, we might need to do something at the federal government level to help, bring more jobs. And there's just more visibility into it. The number is actually, I think, more correct now than it was even a year or two ago. And the jobs for 2025 have been revised down again. So it's really showing that the labor market's not longer term.
I mean, and it's interesting to kind of hear that, and then on the flip side, both of us be kind of busier than ever in our own personal
Yeah.
jobs. So it's kinda like when you're paying attention to, I don't know, what roles pay in the market, and you have to look at, like, historical data or salary surveys combined with what the real time, people are telling you they're making. It's like this weird combination of it's like, also needs to kinda catch up, but I think it's a good sign that we are both getting busy. Like, I can't imagine that doesn't indicate that it's on maybe a better trajectory. And I mean, that could also be a reflection of the fact that there's more people in the market because there have been a lot of layoffs and stuff like that.
And I mean, there have been a lot of like highly publicized layoffs. The layoff number actually isn't crazy high in
Hmm.
comparison to how historically it has been, especially like in recessions or COVID or things
Yeah.
like that. So you're seeing a shedding of jobs. But I think to your point, you and I are probably on a very leading indicator.
Hmm.
So starting to get, jobs now and us starting to get pretty busy, that's a leading indicator that may not show up in these jobs numbers for a couple of months. So I think we're maybe a canary in the coal mine where, what we're seeing may kind of drip into the rest of the market going forward, which I think could be a good thing. One thing that I keep seeing still is kind of the overhiring is why, companies are doing a lot of layoffs. They're overhiring between 2020 and 2022. And if you think about it, 2022 was 4 years ago. I think we probably got that out of our system at this point, and yet I still see people kind of pointing to that, "Oh, this is why it's happening." Like, I don't think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should also caveat that, like, I am working in the data center industry, which is a very much a growth focused and a highly like active market. And I think I saw a stat the other day that there was 500,000 data center jobs in the US. Only if you only look at like 4 or 5 titles, and these were like data center operations technician, like the people that are actually working in data centers. And then if you add another few titles like salespeople within data center and a couple other titles, it went to like 1 million jobs. So that is one it's one industry, and it is an industry that is a little bit of an anomaly right now because of the amount of growth, and capital going into it. So, this again, just like any time, it's industry dependent, and there's probably different pockets that are experiencing different things at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said before, well, as we talked about, healthcare propping up and government propping up these job numbers. Maybe it could be the case where healthcare is starting to level off. Government's not doing a ton of hiring. So other sectors may start to brighten a little bit as that happens, data center being one. But, the companies that I'm working with that are kind of in a hiring mode are not related industries. One was insurance, one was manufacturing, one was a private equity holding company, and then one was um, fintech. So it's kind of spread across many different industries,
Mhm,
which I think that's the good sign that I'm taking away from this is it's not just one. And then you being in data center,
mhm,
that's a variety of industries, and that's a good sign for the overall economy.
yeah,
So we're not seeing kind of an implosion in the job market. Layoffs are out there. They're People are hearing about them because it's usually a lot of like highly publicized companies. Like, let's use Block as an example. And Block came out saying that they were going to cut their company in half from 8,000 employees down to 4,000. And Block used to run Square. And a lot of people are probably pretty familiar with Square. It's that payment software. It's a little white thing that you kind of scan your card that people use in their iPad. So it's pretty ubiquitous out there in the market. But one of the things that happened was Jack Dorsey, who is the guy who started Twitter, who is now the CEO of Square, now Block, said, "Yeah, we're going to cut half these jobs because AI is going to do this work." And then article after article came out after that saying of people who were internal who were saying AI is not doing this work. This is more a function of what really needed to happen for a pretty specific reason, so we can kind of talk about that now. But a lot of companies have said layoffs are happening because AI is really taking it on. But if you worked in any company that you worked for, I'm working with right now, have you seen AI alter dynamically a company where they don't need as many people?
no.
I haven't either. I mean, I haven't talked to anybody who has either.
It's more of a question around how are we gonna use AI in our current infrastructure internally, and then for data center industry, it's how are we gonna provide that as a product, the space and power piece
Yep.
for companies that are engaging with AI in different ways, and now they have more colocation, cloud needs because of the increase in the amount of, bandwidth and power that they're using for running those systems. But I haven't heard anything about it. Even people proposing that it replace a a person working in a
Right.
job.
Yeah, totally. Um, so I talked to someone recently who was talking about how they implemented AI, and it was a big project for them. And they have a software tool that someone can use. And as they're using it, if they get to a point where they're having trouble with something, AI can come in and ask a couple questions. Hey, I noticed you stop. Are you having trouble? And then you say yes. And then you chat back and forth with what you're having trouble with. And it has knowledge that's been trained on the tool.
Mhm.
So it can kind of help them move forward. I think this morning Verizon could have used that because we had some troubles when we were
I
navigating
think
the
there might have
Verizon
been
site.
an option, but I didn't click it.
Oh, but that's where I'm starting to kind of hear is these embedded AI kind of tools to kind of help you function within whatever software you're using or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's not, I mean, maybe that's replacing a customer service person that you get to a stopping point you have to call. But in my mind, I mean, that's not a huge thing and probably not displacing anybody meaningfully.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I'm hearing it. So I guess back to why. Why would Jack Dorsey say that AI is going to take on the tasks that half his workers were using? Um, and there's, I think, a pretty specific reason for that. Did you see what happened to the stock when he announced that?
Probably went up.
It did, went up 20%. And if you look back at the last 6 quarters of stock for Block,
Mhm.
it has been completely flat. I mean, it's bumped between like 55 and $60 for years. This was like the first time they got a bump. The sad thing for them is it didn't stay there. It actually dropped after that. But What I think I was reading about was Wall Street punishes you if you say, your revenue is flat and you're going to have to shed workers. What it might do if you say, well, AI is going to do this, it might cause the stock to go up. But then I think that creates some ripples within the industry because a lot of other CEOs go, oh, Block has figured out how to use AI and cut the people in half. We should go and figure that out too. So instead of companies spending money on hiring people to do work, they spend money on evaluating AI. Could AI do this? And then they say, this didn't work, but let's see if there's another AI tool. So they'll spend more money on AI, which takes away from the companies being able to hire. So it's actually, I think, a negative thing for job seekers who are in this market of people are spending lots of money on AI that maybe is working, but maybe is not, but it's certainly not replacing people. But companies aren't hiring because they're spending all their money there.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you realize you don't have the workforce and the people to do what you need to do. It kinda almost reminds me a little bit of, not to totally divert here, but I was listening in preparation for one of these brand podcasts about this very small independent owner talking about not paying for ads and doing
Hmm.
only in organic marketing. And the way he was describing it is that he feels like sometimes, like, if you pay for an ad and then you get that sale out of it, then you feel like you need to pay for more ads and it becomes this cycle.
Get addicted to it.
Yeah, it's just this cycle of that's the only way you're generating revenue, and so it almost reminds me a little bit of that, like, "This isn't working, okay, let's try this other AI tool and let's put more money, and we've already invested this money in it, and so we need to now go all in it," and kind of this weird, crazy cycle, so, yeah, I don't know, but that definitely, like, is confusing to the market for so at the end of the day, you think there was absolutely no truth in that the jobs were being replaced by AI with Jack Dorsey's company?
That's what I believe,
Yeah.
right? I've never talked to Jack Dorsey. I can't hold a gun to his head and tell me the truth. But I don't feel like that's an accurate statement. Amazon had said something similar a little while back. What I think will happen, and I think we're probably getting very close to this day, is those companies that say that if they don't get a revenue boost from quote unquote their AI
Mhm.
taking off and
Yeah.
getting the company to the next level, then the stock is going to get punished anyway. And likely all of this, quixotic quest of going out and looking
Quixotic?
quixotic.
What
Yep.
is that? Graham
Uh,
throwing vocab terms over here. What's quixotic?
it's from the book Don Quixote. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
what
So
does it mean?
it's his quest throughout. Did you ever read it?
I mean, I know the general premise. I
Okay.
haven't read the
So
book,
he
though.
goes on this long quest,
Yeah.
and it kind of meanders throughout looking for something. And that's what I think people and companies are doing right now. They're, doing a quixotic quest and looking for the AI
Nice.
tool that could change their company.
Mm.
And I think they're only going to find windmills, which is what he finds in
Oh.
that story.
Oh,
Um,
that's, like, ironic. Like a windmill not needing any technology or, like, any
that's true.
that's very that's kinda crazy.
Yeah. So I think over time, the market will start to get people or leaders at that company saying, we don't have enough people to function as a company. If you talk to people who work for companies right now, people are really, really busy
Mhm.
and doing two jobs sometimes because they don't have enough people. And I think that will start to change. And I bet it starts to change pretty soon. So that's kind of my prediction for this is over the next 3 to 6 months, we do start to see companies bringing people on. I even saw Accenture is talking about hiring a very large class of entry level people. Another company I had seen, I can't remember the other one's name, said the same thing. So that's been the market that's been most frozen is
Yeah.
entry level because they say, oh, AI is going to be able to do this. I think companies are starting to realize that's not true. AI is a tool that can help people be more efficient. It's not going to take the place. So companies are starting to wake up to say, hey, we're going to have a huge hole in our, levels of people within this company if we don't start hiring new grads.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to help a lot as well. So where do we go from here? In terms of AI, I think, AI and the job market, I think they will start to split. Right now, we seem to have, an AI announcement happens. the job market's still not great. I think, AI is going to be a tool that gets created at companies that help people be more efficient at their jobs. And I think the job market will improve along with that. And, if you're a job seeker, knowing and getting an understanding of how you would use AI in your job, being proficient with it, I think is really important. I think using it at least some to be able to talk about in an interview what you've done with it, I think is great. But I don't think you need to be going on a journey to find an AI tool that you could bring to a company. I think I think just having a knowledge of how it works, how you could leverage it. I leverage it a lot. I think ChatGPT is great. It helps me a lot with content. I ask it questions about different things. It's actually helping coach me in my own company, which I think is awesome. And I think it has some used cases. I just don't think it's necessarily going to replace. I don't think it's going to replace me.
Maybe can you talk a little bit about how it's showing up, like, in that director of technology? Because I actually am gonna be opening a director of technology as well, position. I haven't, perused the full job description, but I do have, like, a Power BI role that it's interesting. It's got, like, the core things you need to have Power BI and Automate and, SQL and DAX and things like that, and then there's, like, this nice to have of, like, having worked with Microsoft Copilot,
Mhm.
um, internally and having done stuff with it, but it's just a supplemental, like, that would be nice if that person has done it, but it's not a requirement, so there's kinda, like, this little like sprinkle of AI that we might start utilizing this tool more. So helpful if somebody's had it, but not core and critical to the core skill set of the
Mhm.
role. But you have a director of technology. Does that include, you know, needing specifics around AI?
Yes and no. More of, and actually, this is the second role that I'm working on that's very similar to this. So, what they need someone to do is evaluate all the systems that work within the company. Anything that's outsourced, anything that they have, kind of on-prem, so to speak, or in the cloud. All of their systems, and get an understanding of what are we doing currently, and is this a most efficient way we could be using these systems? Or are there things out there that could actually increase our efficiency? Is there a tool like that you put on top that kind of helps control all these things? Could you, if you have, like, if you're a company that still has an on-prem server that you're storing a lot of stuff in, could you bring in AWS or Azure? So when you talk about AI and automation, all that stuff, there's a lot of different things that
Mhm.
come from. It's not just a, hey, here's an AI tool that's an LLM that's going to do all.
Do
There's
you
a
think they
lot
will
of different things.
ask AI if they need more AI tools? What happens if you ask AI how efficient your AI, like, infrastructure is?
uh,
Is it pro AI?
it's got to be pro AI. That you need more AI.
But, yeah, I think your point is it was well taken. It's like we use it as this blanket term, but it could mean so many different
So much
things.
stuff.
Like, back to the Copilot thing, I was kinda asking this candidate, "Have you used Microsoft Copilot in your experience in the past?" And they were like, "Well, yeah, I know how to use it, like, as a user."
Right.
And I was actually asking, "Have you ever worked with it as a tool and implemented it or, done things with it within the infrastructure," which are 2 different things. And so it's like, I think we have to start to be really clear about, like,
Yeah.
what we're what aspect of the AI we are asking about or
Yeah.
needing the expertise in as a user, as an implementer, as a someone who has the knowledge on how it's built, like all those different things are probably different jobs.
Well, and if I have to use the phrase "deployed at scale" one more time, because I've said it about 1,000 times in the last week or so, it's funny because that's what they're looking for. They want to see people who have deployed automation or AI at scale. Asking that question has brought so many different answers because, once again, it's a hugely broad question. Automation could be anything. There's
Mhm.
robotic process automation. There is, like I said before, there's cloud that could be automated and automate things. There are tools that can provide automation. There are AI tools. There's AI you can build from scratch. I mean, there's
And what
just
is scale? Like
right.
define scale. Like, yeah, a lot of our business we're going to be moving customers from single cloud instances to multi-tenant cloud infrastructure, and that all probably ties back to the AI, but that like Yeah, it means different things in different settings, so
Right, and multi-cloud is its own discussion, like, if you're gonna
Mhm.
have GCP, Azure, and AWS all together, how do you decide what stores what? Is there duplication that gets stored? Are you using one company to get a better deal from another company? There's added complexity when you add that,
Yeah,
to it
and
as
we
well.
don't even play in those. We're moving people from VMware to Nutanix Cloud.
Right,
So we're not even touching AWS or Azure or anything like that. It's totally different.
yeah.
It's totally different cloud providers. And then is it private cloud? Is it public cloud? Anyways, there's a lot of complexity. Yeah. But
Absolutely.
but the point is that, yeah, we don't necessarily believe that at this point in time, we've seen a ton of evidence pointing to AI replacing people in their jobs.
And I think that is a perfect bottom line. We've seen it be tools, we've seen it be helpful, we've seen it improve, automate. We haven't seen it replace.
Yeah,
And I think if you're a job seeker looking right now, you can take that to heart. And I think over the next 3 to 6 months, we start to see that reflected in the job market getting better.
very good.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, do all those things. Share this with someone who might be nervous about AI taking their job.
The Too Talented podcast.
Yeah. And we'll be back next week with another great discussion.
Yeah.
26, 23.
Nice.
Tummy's grumbling. I haven't had breakfast
Wins too.